Welcome back to the pop culture discussion. I am your host, Robert, and today we are looking at my favorite movie trilogies of all time. After making a recent video about how much I adore the Deadpool trilogy, it's got me thinking about all the other amazing movie trilogies I have loved over the years. So here is my list of my top 20 favorite movie trilogies of all time. And before we start, here are 10 honorable mentions of trilogies that didn't quite make the top 20. The Blade trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, the Men in Black trilogy, the Madagascar trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Jason Bourne trilogy, the Terminator trilogy, the X-Men trilogy, the Kung Fu Panda trilogy, and the Kingsman trilogy. Cracking us all up at number 20, the Beverlyhillscop trilogy. Not only does this trilogy feature Eddie Murphy at the peak of his comedy career, but the use of genres and fun detective style of storytelling makes these movies an absolute blast to watch. Although most people think the third movie doesn't hold up as well as the first two, I find this whole trilogy hilariously entertaining, and Beverly Hills Cop 2 is literally the funniest movie to come out of the 80s in my opinion. Crashing into number 19, the Glass trilogy. The top tier performances we receive from James McAvoy, Samuel L. Jackson, and Bruce Willis in these films are absolutely mesmerizing. The intense chemistry between these actors combined with the grounded superhero world building make this thrilling trilogy stand out amongst the more extreme and action-packed superhero movies of today. Although most people didn't like how this trilogy ended, I personally think it wrapped up in a perfectly realistic manner, even if it did slightly overuse the shock value. Playing over at number 18, the Toy Story trilogy. An incredible concept that will never make me look at my toys the same way again, excelled by a fantastic cast of memorable characters and a perfect ending with Toy Story 3. No animated movie has made me cry harder than the ending of Toy Story 3, and it's honestly a real shame that they're still dragging this series out to this day, considering how satisfying the original ending of this trilogy was. Swinging over to number 17, the MCU Spider-Man trilogy. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the MCU's version of Spider-Man, in him being so childish and constantly needing other people's help to get by, but by the end of this trilogy, I was insanely satisfied with where Spider-Man ended up and what the future will bring for him. And these movies are extremely well made and have some very memorable villains, not to mention the fact that we got all three Spider-Mans together for the final film. And in my wildest childhood dreams, I never thought I would actually see that become a reality. Flying over to number 16, the Iron Man trilogy. Robert Downey Jr. is the legendary king of charisma in his portrayal of Tony Stark's Iron Man in both the Avengers movies and his own Iron Man trilogy. Although the second film doesn't quite reach the heights of the other two Iron Man films, the epic action, mind-blowing CGI, quippy humor, and banging soundtrack of all three movies definitely make these movies a lot of fun to watch. Blasting its way over to number 15, the original Star Wars trilogy. Okay, I might be getting some hate in having this trilogy so low on the list, but I do still absolutely adore these iconic characters and respect the staple the world building had on the genre of science fiction films moving forward. I personally grew up with a different set of Star Wars movies, and I'll be talking about them soon, but Empire Strikes Back is an absolute classic, and there is no denying that. Whip cracking over to number 14, the Indianajones trilogy. Not only is The Last Crusade the best movie to come out of the 80s in my opinion, but the practical use of action and set designs make these movies still hold up to today. Well, besides some dated CGI and green screen effects. The iconic characters and exciting storytelling also set the bar for adventure films moving forward. It's just a shame the later films after this trilogy are absolutely awful and can bring this trilogy down unless you choose to ignore their existence altogether. Beaming on to number 13, the Star Trek reboot trilogy. This trilogy completely took me by surprise. Being someone who was always a Star Wars fan, I never really gave Star Trek a chance until this trilogy. I was so pleasantly surprised with the exceptional world building, intense storytelling, and charismatic characters of the first movie that it literally became one of my favorite science fiction movies of all time. And although I do still really enjoy the second and third movies because of the amazing cast, compelling storytelling, and fantastic CGI, they just don't quite hold the same cult classic status in my heart as the first movie. Slingshotting onto number 12, the original Spider-Man trilogy. Spider-Man is and always will be my favorite superhero of all time, and even though I have the original Marvel comics to thank for that, this trilogy is also highly responsible for my love and excitement for the character. Sam Raimi's version of Spider-Man's story is brought to life with stylish vision, a phenomenal cast, amazing character arcs, iconic villains, and intensely memorable action. The first two Spider-Man movies are absolute cult classics with some of the best Spider-Man storytelling ever put to screen. And even though Spider-Man 3's memes are next level, the cheesy execution of the screenplay does let it down more than I would have liked. Force pushing onto number 11, the Star Wars prequels trilogy. This is my childhood wrapped up into one trilogy. Although a lot of the older generation will argue the originals are better, the love the prequels are finally getting with this newer generation is absolutely deserved. Although the writing can be cringy, this trilogy holds the best action, world building, and character arcs in all of the Star Wars movies for me. If I'm ever going to sit down and watch a Star Wars movie, there's an 80% chance it's gonna be from the prequels. Bullet timing over to number 10, the Matrix trilogy. The iconic cult classic status of the first Matrix movie might have set the bar too high for its sequels to match, with its thought-provoking storytelling, creative world building, and insanely entertaining action, but Reloaded and Revelations did an incredible job at expanding the world building, escalating the stakes, and enlarging the action set pieces with every following battle. Neo and Agent Smith are easily two of the most badass characters to come out of the science fiction genre, and this trilogy absolutely holds up to this day. Swinging through the trees to number 9, the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy. Easily one of the most impressive trilogies on this list when it comes to the use of incredible CGI, outstanding performances, and engaging storytelling. The storytelling is so impressive, in fact, that throughout this entire trilogy, I sympathize with both the apes and the humans, making it hard to pick who the heroes and the villains actually are throughout every movie. Andy Serkis is the king of motion capture, and his performance as Caesar deserves all the love and praise it gets. I am Grooting onto number 8, the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. James Gunn brought his flair and quirky style of storytelling to the MCU with tremendous results. The lovable band of misfits characters mixed with the awesome space opera world building and high galaxy ending stakes crafted some of the most exciting and emotional storytelling within the MCU. As fun as these movies are, they always hit you straight in the feels just as often, making this trilogy stand out with way more depth than expected. Simon Pegg and Nick frosting its way onto number 7, the Cornetto trilogy. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't actually know these movies are a trilogy, considering the stories aren't connected in any way besides a single ice cream that the characters eat. It's actually more the cast and the director that connects these movies into a series. Given how popular the multiverse is now in Hollywood's recent style of storytelling, you could say this is the Edgar Wright multiverse, but either way, Shaun of the Dead is easily the best horror comedy ever made, Hot Fuzz is a detective parody masterpiece, and The World's End is way smarter than people give it credit for, so that's why this trilogy is so high on the list. Shield throwing onto number 6, the Captainamerica trilogy. Not only are all three of these movies absolute superhero gems, with their own distinct tone, genre, and stakes, but the grounded storytelling, emotional arcs, and high-quality action make these easily some of the best movies within the MCU. Captain America was always just another generic Marvel Comics superhero to me, but because his storytelling was so brilliant within the Avengers and these movies, he literally became my favorite character within the MCU. Time traveling onto number 5, the Back to the Future trilogy. The perfect mix of beloved genres and creative time travel storytelling, the Back to the Future movies may have some awkward themes when it comes to the character arcs, but you cannot deny the iconically impressive stamp this series has had on popular culture. I legitimately thought 2015 was going to look like what it looked like in Back to the Future 2 as a kid, and oh boy was I in for a disappointing surprise when that year came around. Every movie in this trilogy stands out as a beloved classic with super memorable characters, fun sci-fi tech, and one of the most legendary soundtracks of all time. Kung Fu fighting onto number 4, the Rushhour trilogy. Not only do we get peak level stunt work from Jackie Chan and peak level comedy from Chris Tucker in this trilogy, but the chemistry between these two leads crafts easily some of the funniest buddy cop dialogue and slapstick humor to come out of Hollywood. These movies dial up the fun factor to 11 and improve the action, comedy, and personal stakes with every installment. This trilogy is easily the most underrated on this list in my opinion, and it definitely needs way more reach in the world so it can get all the love and respect it deserves. Fourth wall breaking onto number 3, the Deadpool trilogy. Now I've said it already on this channel, but I'll say it again. I absolutely adore the Deadpool trilogy, as it is easily the best superhero trilogy ever made. The perfect casting and huge respect for the source material and the fans who love these characters really make these movies stand out amongst all the other superhero films out there. Ryan Reynolds has put his heart and soul into these films, and it really shows with every single installment. Journeying into number 2, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now I know this highly regarded masterpiece of modern cinema will be number 1 for a lot of people because of the iconic world building, epic storytelling, memorable characters, and groundbreaking effects, and I completely understand if it's your choice at number 1. It was very close to number 1 for me as well. The cult classic status this trilogy holds in pop culture to this day cannot be unmatched. Middle-earth will be loved for generations to come, and this trilogy will always be the king of fantasy storytelling. And sailing over to number 1, the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. One of the core reasons I am so obsessed with cinema, the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy created not only my favorite character in all of film history in Captain Jack Sparrow, but presented some of the most exciting and memorable world building I've ever seen in a trilogy. The exceptional full circle character arcs, practical sets and props, escalating threats, and easily some of the best CGI to ever come out of Disney also make this trilogy boost up to the number 1 spot for me. I've always been obsessed with pirates as a child, and the Pirates of the Caribbean movies just perfected everything I loved about them. So there you have it, my top 20 movie trilogies of all time. Now there very well may have been some classic movie trilogies that didn't make my list because I haven't seen them. So absolutely feel free to come after me in the comments if your favorite trilogy didn't even make the list, or if you think my order is complete insanity. Or feel free to like the video if you agreed with my list, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this kind of video, as I appreciate each and every one of you subscribers, and I will see you all in my next video.